Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we're talking about something very important, something that has to do with this current COVID-19. And I have a special guest. I have got a person that made me as a Black person understand that I was able to make R1 million. I've got Lebo Gunguluza. The first time I had her speak at an event, I can't remember, probably 20 years ago. He said, I'm a Black guy and I made my million like this, like this, like this. And I was like, okay, I knew that Black people do have money, like millions, but I never understood that a Black person that doesn't have much, just like me, can make it happen. So since then, I went out and I made my millions. And thank you to him, because probably maybe it would have taken long. Welcome, Nebu. Thank you so much for making the time.
No, thank you, Busi, for inviting me to your session. And I'm so glad that I've inspired so many people in South Africa to say that it is possible to make R1 million. Not where like other people who don't believe it is possible, but I really believe that it's possible for most South Africans. And it really is based on your level of knowledge and the effort that you put in. But it's possible for most South Africans to make their million.
Yeah, because I think for me, I didn't also know how I'm going to make it, or um, what will it take from me. But the most important thing was that it is possible. And here is a story of someone who just explains it. I mean, you were very, very detailed. You
Yes.
really made me like, even that I can do, even this I can do. Oh,
Exactly.
that's all I need
All
to
of this
do.
can be done. Yes. Yes. All
Yeah.
of this can be done.
So
Yeah.
there I
Yeah.
was as
All
a
of this
Black
can be
child.
done.
Finally, for the first time, I know that I can do this. And I went out. I mean,
Exactly.
I went out and I made my millions, very, very different from how you made yours. But
Exactly.
I was now sure of myself. I was sure that if Lebo made it, I can.
Exactly.
So thank you for sharing your story, and thank you
Yeah.
for continuing to do that, because a lot of young people, I say young because, the young people in South Africa are feeling a little bit shaky, like
Exactly.
maybe yeah, maybe I should study, maybe I should do this, maybe I should go look for a job, maybe. But those things are good, but you can also just make the money. I mean, right now, the statistics, the stat says we are going to have 40% unemployment after
Yes.
COVID-19,
Yes. 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 Yes.
which
Yes. Yes.
means
Yes.
that more people are not going to be having an income.
Yes.
Now,
Yes. 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 Yes.
I thought today let's talk about the fact that even when these 40% or whatever number of people go and start a
Yeah.
business, the biggest problem is that Black people don't buy from Black people.
Yeah. It is
So
true.
who are they going to be selling to if nobody's going to be buying from them?
Exactly.
And with the work that I've done, I've found out as a coach that you normally do not take, especially in the Black context, Black people don't take Black people serious because they don't take themselves serious. So you look
Yes.
like me, I don't believe in me, I can't believe in you. I mean, I've had
Exactly.
so many times where I'm going to a deal and there's a Black person on the other side as a maybe supplier, something, and they like, so it's just only you. Like, where's the white person here?
Where's the white man behind you?
Yeah, so like you just did this all by
No, that's
yourself.
true.
Like this is just you. Like how, like they don't get that you are Black and you can be
Yeah,
amazing. So tell
that's
us
it.
a little bit about how you were able to go out there and prove, even to these meetings where you are asked, you are Black, and then that you are you sure?
Yeah,
So because that comes with when people start treating you like that, you lose you believing in yourself. You lose
yeah, you
that
lose yourself. Yeah,
self-esteem. How
exactly.
have you been able to get over that?
I think for me, just to start with my background, I was really pissed off with my first 20 years of my life because I was really didn't have all the other benefits that the other kids had. You know, I was born in a situation that's not desirable. In fact, I was born in a shack behind the funeral parlor, and my mother and father were not around. They went to study in Natal. So I was raised by a helper most of my few, and then the next one, my father came back and became a brilliant lawyer that did very, very well. But the only challenge is that he passed away while we were still very, very young. I was 6 years old at the time. My mother was only a nurse. So it was challenging for us to grow up all those many years. And I kept looking at people having decent lives. And then the worst part is that I went to a school in rural Eastern Cape, and things there got worse. So I really said to myself, I don't think this is the life that God really has destined for me. I think every day I wake up, I must commit to myself that I'll always do something better each day. So every time I wake up every morning, I commit myself to learn something new. I commit myself to change my past and create a better future. That is why when I finished matric, after repeating classes 4 times, I was the oldest person in class. When I finally finished, I told myself that I don't care what happens in my life, but I'm going to commit to these 3 goals. The first goal is at 25, I want to become a millionaire. 35, I want to become a multi-millionaire. At 45, I want to become a billionaire. So that process has always put me under a lot of pressure whenever I relax and I think I'm comfortable, because being comfortable can be your worst enemy, So I always put myself under pressure to learn new things, to discover new things, to find new ways of making sustainability. But one thing I learned more than anything else in that whole process is that always be learning something new and always be learning something that's in the future, so that you become the first one to introduce it into your environment. So that's what I did also with my first opportunity to make $1 million, is that I realized that radio was very powerful, and I realized that Black guys are not using radio to create strong events. And when I used to work for Metro FM, I realized that this medium is so powerful. Why are people not using it the way they should? So I proposed to another radio station, YFM, to say, look, why don't I do a major event for you? And then I introduced your station to the black market, which I understood very well. And then by doing that, by solving a problem where that they needed to solve a problem, I then managed to make my first $1 million. So you have to solve a big problem if you want to make big money and big impact. That's the first step.
Yeah. Wow. And I mean, every time I had a conversation with you, I mean, you had just made it clear that you must be the first person who does something, because that's it. Once you've done it, it's done.
Then there's a lot of but then there's going to be a lot of competition after that, and you're not getting the rewards of being the first. So the rewards of being the first is that everyone is excited, everyone wants to be there. So in my first gig, I had 15,000 people, all paying about 100 and 150 rands VIP, and normal 100 rands, 80 rands. So it created a great opportunity for me, and I really did not even have money that time. All I had was just airtime that I negotiated with the radio station to say, give me this amount of airtime to promote your show. I don't need your money. I'll make things happen. And they gave me that, and I exchanged that airtime for value against other suppliers who were part of the gig. And I became creative. So creativity is extremely important. So they say that there will always be limited resources, but there's always unlimited creativity. So as long as you can wake up the next day and create something new, find new solutions, you'll always find an opportunity. If Caspar Nyovest did not create a song, Dog Dog Shebeleza, there would be no Caspar Nyovest today, because he created something. Then that creation, he was rewarded for it, And so there's no limitation. God has never said, stop creating now. I'm tired of your creations. As long as you are creating something new, creating new opportunities, creating new markets, creating new things, God will always bless you and the world will always reward you.
Wow. So as a coach, I mean, I coach people with money every day. And the biggest problem is that a person says, what if it doesn't work? Because I have not seen anybody do this. It's new. It's only me who just thought about it. What if it doesn't work? And a lot of people are caught up in that what if doesn't work. So how do you deal with it?
Well, that's the benefit of things not working at the beginning, because then you learn quicker than anyone else. You find solutions quicker than anyone else. So let's say if you are a person who fixes computers and you become one of the first people to fix computers because no one else knows, and you learn quickly how to fix that computer, you'll probably make more money than other people who come later because you will then help a lot of people to fix their computers. That means you'll access the market quicker than anyone else. So that's the benefit of learning, because then you get to solve problems quicker than everyone else. And in solving problems, people will pay you for that service. So when you learn things and you become better, you then see even other opportunities beyond what you're trying to solve. So as a result, always look at failure as the biggest learning opportunity. I always say to people, my best university was the university of failure, because it is the one that's taught me the most. And most people don't understand that in this world, you have an opportunity to lead, not only because everything has been good for you, but because everything has been bad. And when everything goes bad, you know now exactly what not to do next time. So that's why they say Edison, when he started the globe, he found out 1,200 times what not to do when he found out when he finally knew what to do in order to make the globe work. And as a result of that, he became extremely, extremely rich. Same as your McDonald guy. He found so many problems in setting up McDonald's. He even explored so many opportunities until he found that the franchise opportunity is the way to go. And that property is the best way to manage what he was managing. So it's because of the challenges that he went through. So he got many advisors, he got many people he consulted with many people. And as you do that, as you consult and you engage with many people, you get to learn what not to do, and then you end up doing things brilliantly. That's why I always told people that I failed so many times that failure is now cut fall with me. It's tired of me. So when I have to fail as, oh, Gunguluza, not you again. And I said,
just move on.
And I succeed. So
yeah. Wow, that is totally great, because we were taught to the fact that you should never fail. I mean, the biggest limiting belief is that one is you should not fail grade one. If you fail grade one, you are a mess. And all our lives, we're trying to not fail. We're trying to, when we are failing, we're thinking we have messed up. But you say, when we're failing, we are learning. And I know that. I've failed so many times, and all my failures have gotten me all the money I have.
That's
Literally the failures. I can really say I don't know my success. I know a lot of failing. But then also, the other thing that I get a lot, the question that I'm asked, I find people saying, I was the first to do that. And because I didn't know how to do it, I sort of did a half job at it. And then somebody came and then they improved it and then they made it their own, or they made more money than me. But I'm actually the first one. I mean, literally, I have people who need so much healing because they feel like the world robbed them because they were the first and then they didn't do it so well, and then somebody came and finished it up. So what's up with that?
There will always be competition in this world, and competition is the one that gives you the edge. It's the one that pushes you to do better. If there was no competition, everyone would relax, because why push if there's no competition? When I started the first club in Ilovo, I was the first person to ever have a club in the northern suburbs in South Africa. All the clubs used to happen in Hillbrow, Braamfontein, and all of that. By the way, it exposes my age. So what happens is that I left the advertising agency, and I thought, let me go to the suburbs. No one has got the club in the northern suburbs, because the place where I used to work was also in the north, the advertising agency. So I approached these guys and I said to them, look, I don't have I don't have infrastructure, I don't have a club, I don't have a restaurant. So what I'd like to do is that, can your club, because it's not doing well at all, it's empty, and I've got a huge following because I used to throw a lot of parties and I used to have a lot of people coming to pack up in my house. So I said, no, let me go to these guys, ask them quickly, what can I bring my audience here? Can I bring my market to your space? I'll take the gate takings and you guys make money on your alcohol. So the guys, they agreed on that. So boom, I actually made more money on my first night than I made the entire month when I used to work for a salary. And I thought, damn, I've never seen something like this in my life. So I then decided to push forward. I became the best club because everyone now was wanting to come to the northern suburbs. And then came competition. This guy, Tish Matters, he used to be with 5FM. So he had a huge following with 5FM. So he opened just up the road from me. And because he had radio behind him, all my audience were excited by the fact that he's a celebrity. He's also working the radio station. I lost all my members and my club was empty. I was devastated. But however, I didn't say that's the end of the world. I said, okay, he's got me. I went to check his club. I've even attended his club. It was packed. I said, okay, we are in Ilovo and Rosebank. I'm going to go even north. Guess what I did? I went next to Sandton City. Like so excited by a club just next to Sandton City. I opened up a house there. I attended to a club with Dr. Stemson Keys. The guy was known. Dr. Stemson Keys was well known. Alex was well known. I thought, okay, let me bring two well-known guns. Let me partner with them. We took a big house there. It was the first club that happened in a house. So it was something new that people have never seen before. A house next to Sandton City, that packed. The guy, Razmatez, closed down. And then after that, he was deported out of the country, not because of me, I don't know, because of his own problems. Then it packed. So it just, when you have competition, even though you're the first, you're allowed. But then when competition comes, you have to then up the game and show that you are the leader. If you are the leader like Nokia, you can't close doors. When Samsung comes into the picture, when Apple comes into the picture, you must step up. So Nokia just didn't step up to the game. You understand? Now, Samsung is having a rough time from Huawei, and Apple is having a rough time. So they both need to step up. It's the nature of business. It's the nature of the game. It's the nature of the beast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that, because it just gives us a perfect example of how you can be winning and all of a sudden one thing happens and then everything
happens
is over,
all the time.
Then
even
you need to level up.
Even sometimes people that work for you will steal your ideas and steal your business concepts and then go start something next door. You understand? There's nothing you can do about it. It's the nature of the game. It's competition. You just need to show them that you are made with better experience and you have got better game.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I also know that you are very good at is to have good relationships with, I would say, the right people. Maybe it's not the right people, but you have an eye for that type of stuff. And obviously, those networks make your next move a better move. Because sometimes moving by yourself just because you think you can move doesn't help much. How should a young person think around that? A person who's just like, they still going to go into life, and what should they be thinking? How do they put themselves in the right position at the right times all the time?
I'll tell you one thing about, and I actually even say this on my, I say this on my website. If people don't know my website, it's lebogunguluza.com. I say this because even on my website, the first thing that I say there is that golden opportunities come from great relationships, because the relationships that you build are the stepping stone of your success. Opportunities don't just flow out of anywhere. It will be someone who tips you or someone who you have a relationship with, but the right relationships, not the wrong relationships. There are relationships that are toxic, that will not breed you anything, but there are relationships that you've chosen that are strategically for your own gain and for your own purpose, that you know that me being around these people will build me. You know, you don't want to be surrounded by people who tear you down, who always criticize you, who don't advise you. You want to be very, very specific with the relationships that you build in your life and the people that you surround with. The minute if a relationship for you does not work, just cut it off. There's no loss. You can just be nice to the person and say, you know what, this relationship of ours is not really fruitful if the person is pushing to have that relationship with you. But it's very, very important that you surround yourself with people that are always sharing ideas with you, people who are even more knowledgeable than you, people who are even more informed than you, people who've succeeded way beyond your dreams, and just surrounding yourself with them, you learn a couple of things, and in that learning, you'll then not necessarily compete with them, because that won't benefit your relationship with them, but you will see maybe they need something very, very important in their business, and they'll say to you, look, Lebo, I own a couple of these, or I own property, and I'm really, really running short of people who can clean my property. Do you know anyone who cleans property? And then you say, wow, there's an opportunity. And then you start saying, let me start a cleaning business or a fumigation business or whatever. And then, or a pest control business. Then you say, I'll do the pest control. Then you form relations with other strategic partners to bring a service to their building, because they're struggling, because they're already ahead of you, but there's an opportunity. Then you find that when you do a good job and you commit yourself to that job, you find that he'll recommend you to other people who can use your services. And then in that way, your business starts growing. So sometimes your business does not have to grow from your own intentions. It grows because there's an opportunity that presents itself from the network of people that you know. And in that way, you start growing through their support. And sometimes maybe if you're short of equipment, they'll say, no, Lebo, don't worry. I will pay you 3 months in advance so that you can organize the equipment. That relationship alone helps you build your business.
Wow. I am learning that you must always be serving. You must always be looking, how can I serve here? How can I serve this person? How can I make their lives better? How can I make their lives easier? For me being in their life, they must be valued.
Exactly. Wow. You must add value in their lives. Yes. And they will in turn resonate the value to your life.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yes.
So now there's also this thing of the young people in this country right now. There's a lot of talk about being entitled. So they feel like, oh no, I will just walk into that place and tell them what I want, and they will give it to me. I will just walk into this person's life and say, give this to me, and they will do that for me. So how must we think? Because a lot of time then they get disappointed when they get that no. And they're like, what kind of a person are you? I thought you. But then how must they be thinking while going into making that relationship? What must be in their mind?
So let me start firstly with relationships and the importance of relationships. What you don't want to do, you don't want to strain a relationship. Let me give you a first example of what you are saying is that, firstly, the person has not given you the work, right? And other people, they tend to strain the relationship at that level where they start demanding, okay, because they feel entitled. Okay, that's a phase one of the relationship management. Phase two of the relationship management, let's say now the person gives you the work, right? And then, but their processes in the organization, they take a little bit longer to pay you. And then when you start fighting with them, you tell them, how I'm going to mess you up. You don't pay me. I'm going to report you to the media. I'm going to do. Then in that way, the day they pay you, that's the end of your relationship with them. But if you manage it properly, you massage the idea, you make sure that even if they pay you in bits and pieces, just to make sure that you finally get your money, but you're still retaining the relationship. You know, but the minute you become aggressive, and they will give you your money when the money has to get paid. But trust me, that's the end of your, they will never want to do anything with you ever again. That's the second part. And then the third part of managing that relationship is that if your relationship is such that they've paid you, and then when you start talking bad about them afterwards, and you start complaining about how their processes are, how bad they work, how bad they think, that information goes around very quickly within the circles, because remember they've got circles, and they also have other partners, friends, and other associates that they work with. And if, for example, you tend to give bad feedback to them without consulting with them and without engaging with them properly and expressing strictly to them on what their improvements could be, that also messes up the relationship. So as much as we are desperate for getting our money, as much as we are desperate to getting the work, as much as we are desperate to show that we are better and we are good, but it's very, very important to know that relationships are the ones that last longer, even than the money that you get from them. That relationship is more important, because when they give you the money or when they give you the work, even if whatever goes wrong, what you need to keep more than anything else is that relationship, because there'll be an opportunity next time where they become a director in another company and you are not aware that they're a director and you bid for that work. And they can make the most devastating decision that affects your entire future, because you bent the bridge when it was not even necessary to burn it. And most of us try to burn as few bridges as possible and try to retain as much relationship as possible in your life, so that you have a better chance in the unknown future.
Yeah. So it's important to not be desperate and keep calm, really keep
That's
calm.
it. Keep calm in the most desperate situations.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
So sometimes when you have a fresh idea and it's new and you are excited, and then you go to somebody else and you're like, yeah, I've got this amazing idea. It's going to work like this, like this. And the person is like, well, I don't think so. What should you be handling? How should you be handling yourself with that?
Okay, here's the reality of things. Ideas are cheap. Even a person that says to me, I must sign an NDA, I say, no, keep your NDA, keep your idea, we're good. Because they want funding or support from my organization and they want whatever. I say to them, no, keep your idea. You see, the real value of any idea lies in the execution. That's why funders, they like to wait for a year where you can showcase that you are already making profit in your business. That's why none of them will fund you first time, because of your idea that's sitting in your head. Ideas are very cheap. Even drunkards in a tavern have got 20,000 ideas. If you go to a tavern, you'll hear this guy is shouting this idea, that guy is shouting idea. But the real value lies in your team that we trust, and in the execution and the vision that you possess. So that's why a guy who's got experience will tell you firsthand, if you're shouting your idea to him, he'll say, okay, show me a bit of the financials in the first year, or show me what you have done so far, or put your skin in the game. Have you invested a bit of money in your own idea? Because They don't want to lose money because of you. They want to show, they want you to show that you've also put your skin in the game, that you believe in the idea and that you've already worked hard. And in most cases, most investors, they invest in the jockey. They invest in the person themselves. So they'll also check how your behavior is, how your skill set is, and how your experience is. So if you sound like a novice and you don't know what you're doing, even if you've got the greatest idea in the world, they'll just ignore you or just brush you away. But if you show that you've got experience, you're highly skilled, or you are educated around this environment, then they'll trust you, especially if they trust that you've worked in this environment for a while, you've gained a lot of skill around it. Then they'll trust. Even if the idea does not work, they'll believe in you, so that even when you come up with a slightly different idea from where you started, they will support you because it's you and it's because of your skill set. So most people, sometimes they'll start with an idea of this nature, but by the time they get funding or support from the person that they've been talking to, they end up with a completely different idea that's successful, that is far away from where it started. You know that Facebook never started with Facebook. It's just that the guys that supported Zook is because they knew that he was a brilliant boy and they knew where he was going. And he started with another concept of connecting students, but it ended up being Facebook, which is now being used worldwide. So it never starts with the idea. That's why the idea is always the cheapest thing around. The skill set, the experience, and the vision, and the grit to succeed are the main things.
Wow, ideas are cheap. And a lot of people are stuck because they're thinking somebody's going to take their idea. And actually what happens is that somebody who they don't even know from anywhere, wherever, they do the same thing, and then they really now have to cry because, wow.
Well, if you think you've got an idea, I'll ask anyone a favor. If you've got an idea and you think it's yours and you're the only one in the world, go Google. You'll find there's 20,000 other people are doing the same idea all over the world. You know, so that's why we always ask you when you to invest in you, to say, have you gone into the internet to check who else is your competition, who else has got the same idea? Because people always think that I'm the only one who's got this idea. But the minute they go and search, they find that there's 20,000 other people. Other people have already executed far ahead of them. So I always believe that ideas come from God. And you are just one of those who got to receive the idea. But the main thing that God wants is speed. The person that is fastest to execute the idea and goes ahead is the person that will get the most benefits. But they will always come to the world in abundance. That same idea will come to the world in so many ways. But if you take the lead and you execute fastest and you put a lot of effort and energy, you have sleepless nights to make this idea happen, you will probably take the real lead. And that's when the funders will also come and support you.
Wow. So now you are so good at this thing of starting a business and making money from no money. Yes. I mean, I have done it now. I know how easy that is. But obviously, when I say to other people, it's so easy to make money when you don't have money. They actually don't understand me. Can you just explain that a little bit?
I will explain that, because that's an extremely important question. And it speaks to us as Africans and our need for capital. As Africans, we believe that, we've been made to believe that before you can start your business, you need capital. And I've always fought against that, because it limits the efforts of an African child in starting a business. That's why for me, throughout my life, I've always explained to people that it's very, very important that you start. Especially now we have an advantage because we're in a place called the knowledge economy. The knowledge economy only requires creativity in your brain to start. So you can start directly from your phone, because your phone now has become a supercomputer. Your phone is no longer just a phone. In the past, when you had those Nokias, that was a phone because you only had buttons and a small screen. Now you have a whole supercomputer in front of you. So this thing, you call it a phone, I call it a supercomputer. Because firstly, in your office, or I call it a super home office, in your office, what do you need to operate? You need a phone, right? It's got a phone. You need internet, right? It's got internet. You need a computer, right? To send out emails, you've got emails on your phone. In order for you to take pictures and be able to store your products, you've got a camera there. But here's even something more powerful. You've got storage to store content. Now, in the past, you needed to have a server in your office to store content and to store files. You can store all the files. You don't remember how we used to file documents those days, those olden days where there was a lady who was the receptionist, her job was to file and load. Yeah. Here you can file things from apps. So you've got more than enough apps on this phone to do any business activity. So you've got enough business tools to work from your phone. Now, that's why now there's the issue of the fourth industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution speaks to three things only. It speaks to mobile, that you can now access markets through your mobile phone. That means if there's 2.2 billion people that are holding phones in their hand, that are always stuck on their phones, it means you've got a market to reach 2.2 billion. Let's start there. The second one is that through your phone, you can also be able to communicate with that market in many, many different ways, using all these tools such as Instagram, Facebook, and all of that. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that you've got what you call the cloud. That's why companies such as video stores and all of that are closing down, because content now is moving in the cloud, it's sitting on the cloud. So there's no need to keep anything on the server, okay? The third one is that you can now use artificial intelligence. That means that you don't need to use your brains and employ a lot of people to reach certain people in certain markets. You can use what you call algorithms, which is artificial intelligence. There's so many solutions that are providing that. That means that from your phone alone, you can create a huge organization. And your phone, you are always with it every day, but instead you are using it for ego purposes. You are using it to take Instagram pictures, but you're not using it as a business tool. So it starts there. So it starts with the mindset. Once your mindset is correct, then you are able to take advantage of the current and present value of things. Now, you don't need money to do that. You just need knowledge. And most of the knowledge that you need, you can always get it from YouTube. And guess where is YouTube? You get YouTube from your phone. Exactly my point. So the best university is directly in your phone. Now, all we need to do is just to make sure we've got a bit of data and work very hard with government to make sure that people access data, because that phone and that data, if used correctly, can create a lot of multi-millionaires. Now, I'm going to move away from mobile. I'm going to move to e-commerce. That is why I'm introducing in South Africa a thing called drop shipping. Now, in the olden days, for you to start a store, right, you needed to firstly rent a store. That means you have to find a physical space. Then you needed to go to the warehouse and go buy the stock and put it on your car, right? And go take it to your shop, right? And then display it. Then you needed to employ a couple of people in there so that they're always there to sell the stock when people come into the shop and buy, right? And then, but you are also limited to the area where you could buy, where you could sell. So you were limited. Now, with e-commerce and drop shipping, is that you can now create an online store for a very minimal amount. For example, the dropship club that we set up is only 2,500 to set up an online store. Now, what you do there, you go to the other sites. Those are called drop shipping suppliers. You get their products and put them in your e-commerce store. That means you can sell anything in the world. In the past, you needed to be limited to what you can afford. You can decide to sell cars. Yeah, or you can, you can sell computers. You can sell anything, because it's, as long as you know the supplier, that's it. As long as you know the supplier, you can sell the most beautiful dresses in the world. You can sell the most beautiful toys in the world, because all it is just a picture online.
Well, and you never have to see the dress
inventory.
because it moves from
You never need to keep inventory because the stock is going to move from the manufacturer directly to the customer. So the stock does not ever have to come to you. The only thing you need to focus on is the type of products that you want to sell and the marketing. Do you get what I'm saying? And business, marketing and business is critical because it is important. And the nice thing about marketing and online is that you don't have to send people to your physical store. So they don't have to walk to you. You can sell it directly online and you can drive people directly to your website. They don't have to walk to your website. They can access your website on your phone. That means they can access your store faster than anything else. Does it make sense? So the dropship concept is such that people don't have to wait for money in order to start being in business. That is why I'm pushing it so hard in South Africa, because it's a new phenomenon. And if Africans don't expose themselves to that space, most of us will be buying from e-commerce stores that are coming from other countries. You see that, wow, this is such a beautiful jacket, let me buy it. But you're not aware that you're actually buying it from a store that's in India or that's created by someone in New York, and that the product is coming from China. You're not aware. You just all you are just seeing, you just seeing this beautiful jacket, but you're not aware. All you want is just for that jacket to get your house. That's it. But you're not aware of the politics behind it. You're not aware that this jacket is coming from China, it's being sold from someone from Singapore, but all you know, you are just buying. That's why I'm trying to get many Africans to understand this concept, because when that market explodes, that market is going to bury malls. Malls are going to be buried because people will no longer be going to malls to go buy. They'll be buying online and directly from their phones. So for me, it's critical that I make sure that Africans are aware of this. That's why we have our Instagram page called Dropshipping Africa, that we must prioritize it's called @Dropshipping Africa, because I want to make sure that ultimately we are dropshipping all the products from Africa to the world.
Wow. Thank you so much. So guys, I'm going to put the link on the description box
it's
so
called
that
the
you can check it
Club.
out.
Yeah, it's called the Dropship Club, and the Instagram page is called @Dropshipping Africa.
Wow. And that makes so much sense. I mean, during this coronavirus problem.
Many people want to buy online, they want to buy from their phones.
And
it's going to happen
online.
It's going to happen for a while, because the coronavirus is not going to disappear very, very soon. So it's going to take about 2 to 3 years for it to disappear completely and to be managed completely. But for the next couple of months and maybe a year or two, we'll still be protecting ourselves from the virus.
Wow. So, I mean, even now, my book is on special, and people are buying it, and every day we have the courier guy come through, because they can't go to the office now. Every day the courier guy comes to my house to pick up books.
Exactly. That's it.
And
the nice thing with online, you keep the stock at your house. It's safe. People don't have to walk to your shop and get infected. It's in your house.
Yeah.
The courier guy just comes to your house and picks up the business, the stuff, and then off they go. Yeah.
Yeah, and people get their books in one day, in one.
You don't even need an office. You don't need an office.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So this is I mean with solutions like what you've just shared with us, there is no reason for someone to say, I don't know how to make money.
Exactly.
As long as you if you are watching this YouTube, it means you have a phone and you have internet. So you cannot be saying I don't, because I mean I work with a lot of people that are starting, that are manufacturing maybe dresses, manufacturing whatever they are manufacturing. So those people don't even have to worry about selling their items if other people who have the passion of selling are setting up these stores.
That's it. Exactly my point.
In Atre's group making
let me tell you,
I'm selling them.
Let me tell you what the race is now. The race is not whether you produce the stuff or don't produce the stuff. The race is who reaches the market quicker. There are many, many apps that don't own a single product, starting with Uber, Airbnb, Taxify. They don't own a single product, but they reach the market faster. So the value of your online store is not necessarily on the products that you own. The value is on the amount of traffic that goes to your store. That's why you have to invest a lot in marketing. You understand what I'm saying? So the most important thing is not really the products that you own. Products that you own, you can get products from China that are 10 times better than what you are producing. There's a South African guy who probably has produced a better product than you. But the key thing is that Uber has got a subscription of 91 million users. Now that means that at any point in time, they can reach 91 million people. That's why people would buy Uber for billions. The reason why people would buy Instagram or LinkedIn for 20 billion is because they own the database, or they've got access or influence a market of a couple of millions of people. That means that if Instagram tomorrow were to say Trump is dead, trust me, the entire world would think Trump is dead, because that's influence. Because you're influencing markets, you're influencing people. I want you to understand
Trump will not like
so we would not like that, because the power, he will go mad, ballistic, because that's the power of Instagram, and that's the power of Facebook. You understand? Because they own database, they've got access to a lot of people, and that power, that's what people who invest in companies are looking for. They're looking for that power to access markets. That's why for me, I say, if you build your own store, I mean, Amazon alone, when they first bought that domain, it was probably $99 or 99 cents or $20. But if you were to buy the Amazon.com domain now, how much would you think it would sell for? That's my point. So even if you were to ask how much takealot.com was sold for to Naspers. Naspers paid 1 billion. But when the guys got the takealot domain, they probably got it for 99 rands. So if you build value around your e-commerce store or your digital asset, I call them digital assets. And let's say you are selling watches and you start having a lot of traffic for watches. Then you are bound to sell that store. If it's got a traffic of 100,000 people per day, you can sell that. In fact, there's a store that sold a watch store, an e-commerce watch store, for 300 million. And all it is just a website. Where did Amazon start? They started with selling books, right? They're now worth 1.3 trillion. You understand?
So and they sell everything under the sun now.
And all it is, when you start marketing your store, you just use influencers at the beginning. That are your friends. Then they will start creating traffic towards your store and traffic towards your Instagram account, and you start building it up. Ding ding. 6 months later, you start generating, a couple of thousands on your store. And if you give them good service and people are getting their products on time, they will keep referring people to that site. But you know what? If you want great watches, go to that store. They're reliable, they've got beautiful stock, they always come up with the most beautiful watches. And then you keep promoting those watches on Instagram. That's all free. All you needed was the simple investment of an online store. Do you understand? So it's very, very important that as South Africans, we understand that we're in a very fortunate situation where now we can use e-commerce and internet to build things and build stores and make money differently from the way that was difficult in the past.
Wow. So now someone will ask, how do I create traffic when I don't have influencers as friends?
It's very easy. You just learn Facebook advertising and Instagram advertising. It's probably the cheapest form of advertising than billboards. I mean, people put money on billboards out there in the streets. That's very expensive. Newspaper advertising, for just one ad, you used to pay about 40,000. But with online marketing, just 1,000 rands, you can create so much traffic to your store. And at the Dropship Club, if people go to Dropship Club, .co.za, we've gathered a lot of experts of young people who can help people market their stores. They can also find ready-made stores there. They just have to go to dropshipclub.co.za. We've got a lot of passionate digital entrepreneurs that can assist a lot of people to open up their stores, have their stores running in 24 hours, and also to help them with marketing their stores. I've made it a priority in my life to make sure that we make Africans convert and migrate themselves to e-commerce. I mean, the airlines were the first people to migrate themselves to e-commerce. Think about it. Where do you buy your airline tickets?
Online. There's no other place. I have never ever
I've
I've
got nothing else to say to you. If they saw the importance of migrating online, who are you to still resist?
Wow.
If the banks are going digital, who are you to resist?
Wow. So guys, don't say
the world is moving, and it's still cheaper to go online. Later, if you move too late, the domain that you're looking for that's under your company, you'll be fighting for it for a couple of 100,000, because Bafana is still fighting for that domain because someone else took the Bafana domain. So set up your business online, be present online, and it's very affordable. It's cheaper than opening up a physical store, because the moment you open a physical store, you have to pay first month rental and first month deposit. It's more expensive than setting up an online store. And I mean, that's the future.
Even if you have a job, you don't have to quit your job. I mean, this is literally
you can do this as a side hustle. But I can tell you now, a lot of people will be buying everything from their cell phones. That you can be sure. Even if people can fight, no, but we've got people in the rural areas. People in the rural areas will get a smartphone for $200 in the near future. And there'll be 5G. And there'll be internet everywhere where they go, in the restaurants, everywhere. So they won't struggle with 5G. So when people say, no, Lebo, we need some serious things to take care of, no, you need to access markets. And those markets are growing faster. There's 252 million smartphone users at the moment in Africa. And you want to limit yourself to a physical store.
Wow. So we have just learned that you don't need money to start a business. You don't need a product to start a business. You don't even need a marketing degree to start a business. You just have your phone and you start making money from day one.
In fact, even worse, Instagram. If you look at Instagram now, they've started Instagram Shop.
Wow.
That means that you can do your money from Instagram alone.
Wow.
You understand? So, because they understand the power of mobile.
So you said that we're gonna probably have this for a longer time, like you said. This coronavirus is gonna be about for a longer time, like maybe
2 to 3 years before they really suppress it completely.
So, which means that every person that has a traditional job, I mean a job that has nothing to do with online, in 3 years' time they might not have that job. So even if the company is surviving now, surviving the next 6 months to function, the more the coronavirus time is stretches, the more they can no longer afford to continue. Then in a year's time, they'll be forced to close down, which means that you will not have a job. So maybe it's time to start.
I think this is the best time to start an e-commerce, to be in e-commerce and make money for yourself. But all I'm saying is that e-commerce doesn't even require you to be at work. You can do it anywhere. You could be on a beach and still run your e-commerce store. You don't need to be physically there in order to run. So even if you've got a job, you're working, you can run an e-commerce store on the side. It's not something that is limited to entrepreneurs or people that work or even I had a grade 11 talking to me. They want to run an e-commerce store for shades. She likes shades. She thinks she can have the best shades. And she wants to just sell shades to school friends and all of that. And I thought that was wise, you know. So you can have a niche store. Even if you go to class, you can make money, you know, directly from your phone. So there's no limitations. And Corona should be forcing us to start our own other ways. But you can still be in a job. There's no limitations on e-commerce.
Yeah. Wow. So, and as the last question before I let you go, what are the opportunities that coronavirus industries? Because we know that a lot of things that we knew as normal are going to stop existing, and there's going to be totally new things that are going to become the new normal. So, which industries are going to be the new normal? Which industries are going to totally die?
Well, you know, the industries that are keeping content on physical storage are all going to die. Okay, like your video shops, your CNAs. That's why the EdCom group is having such a tough time, because they've got all these stores that are keeping books, and people are not interested in books anymore, including your bookstores, like your exclusive books and all of that. Yeah, people are going to start buying books directly from there. They're going to download them directly from Amazon or Take a Lot and all of that. And also businesses that require a lot of what do you call movies, like your what do you call where yes, technicals and all of that. They're going to suffer quite extensively, because people now can watch movies from the comfort of their phones. So the latest movie that come in, people are not going to rush to Stekinoco anymore. They will receive it within 24 hours on their phone, and they'll watch it wherever they want to watch it. So there'll be what you call video on demand or movie on demand. That's why Netflix is disrupting everything, because you don't have to wait for a particular time, or you can watch it at the comfort of your laptop or your computer and your phone. So I think those are the areas that are highly disrupted. And the other areas are, you know, areas, because most people are going to be able to order things directly from online, like you've got Uber Eats already. So there won't be a need for certain services which require people to be physically doing it. So, and also graphic design is going to increase, but not in a sense where graphic designers are going to increase, because there's things like Canva where you can do it yourself, graphic design. So they're going to suffer also, the graphic designers and other people that have got soft skills that can be duplicated. So any skills that can be duplicated will suffer. People in the banks, they will suffer, because those jobs are going to disappear, because everything now is going to be automated. So anyone who's got a tedious job, a job that's easily duplicatable, like for example, a bank teller. I mean, when were you last at the bank to go to a bank teller to get your money? Because everyone now is transferring directly from their phones. So mobile is going to be the way. So people that are going to be mostly in high demand now are going to be UX designers, programmers, developers. So the banks are going to be run by creatives and developers now. They're no longer going to be run by bankers. So bankers are in trouble. So there's a lot of things that are going to change, that are going to affect a lot of people's lives. And I think people should consider a side hustle like e-commerce to start fixing their lives and start building a profile of their stores, so that even if things come to worst case scenario, you can still make a bit of money and still survive, because there's nothing worse than having all these high level technologies coming into your country and they're taking all the money out of the country, and you are left stranded because you did not set up something before they arrived. So I think that's the new future. As I said, it's based on three things. It's based on mobile technologies, is based on cloud computing and cloud storage. And it's also based on artificial intelligence, which is robotics. That's why people's jobs are going to be replaced by robots and bots, you know. So people need to be aware of those three things that are going to dominate the world. If you're not getting yourself ready, you'll be left behind and you'll be left crying for days and years to come. So the fourth industrial revolution is real, it's not a joke, and people need to get prepared.
Wow, thank you so much for that. We are
It's a
already
pleasure.
getting ideas. Yeah.
Exactly, it's a pleasure.
Last words to the African child.
Yes. I think all I can say to the African child is that just be aware that you are getting into a digital economy. And all that is required, it's something that we have had in Africa for many, many years, and that is creativity. You must remember that as Africans, we are more creative than any other nation in the world. Other nations in the world are very technical, but we are very creative. And what is required in this fourth industrial revolution is creativity. And as I said to you, there's unlimited creativity, but limited resources. But if you put your creativity in front and you use it as your biggest tool, I think as Africans, we can beat the world because it's our chance now. The chance is no longer based on technical, it's based on creativity. And that's where we rule. That's why we've got the best songs in the world. That's why we dance better than anyone in the world. That's why we've got the best sportsmen in the world, because Africans excel in areas of creativity. And now it's our time, Africa. So that's why I always say, now it's time for Africa to rise. Africa must rise, hashtag.
Wow. Thank you so
It's a
much.
pleasure.
And you know what? The funniest thing that you're saying about the digital world, I do a lot of astrology, and astrology is just literally reading the energy of what the planets and the galaxies are doing. And for now, until probably the next 2,000 years, we have Uranus. Uranus is a planet of digital things.
That's it.
So that planet is really activated in the energy space. So wow.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure sharing such important information.
Please greet your family for me and
to the
thank
Africans.
you for the time.
It's a pleasure, Busi. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So guys, thank you for tuning in. I am going to put the links that Lebo talked about. Make sure that you are doing something about your next level. I mean, if it's something that what he was talking about talks to you, go get it done, like as in today, as in like right now, get it done, because if you do not do it now, you are going to miss that window of opportunity. So if this made sense to you, get it done. If this made sense to you, find a way of implementing it in your life. So one other thing is just that if you don't believe in yourself, nobody can. And if you do not try something, you will never know. So make a move. Thank you so much for tuning in. And click on the subscribe button. And there's going to be more videos on this. I'm going to have more guests that are going to just like enlighten us and show us the way, how to do things, how to get things done. So make sure that you click on the subscribe button. It's free to click on the subscribe button. It's just here below. It's red. Click on that subscribe button and you're going to get more of these videos. And thank you so much. I'm Busi Selesho. I'm an international accredited money coach. Till next time. Bye-bye.